Overwhelmed by crushing pressure, public humiliation, and an impossible deadline, the waitress's plea is not born from weakness, but from sheer exhaustion. Every shift has stripped away a little more of her dignity. Forced smiles, rude customers, low wages, and silent judgment piling up day after day. When she whispers that she needs a husband by tomorrow, it is not romance she is asking for, but rescue. A shield against a system that corners vulnerable women and leaves them with no safe options. Behind her words lies a painful reality many refuse to see. For women living paycheck to paycheck, one mistake, one threat, or one demand can shatter everything. Society is quick to blame them for desperation, yet slow to question the cruelty that pushes them there. She is not chasing comfort or luxury, she is fighting to survive, to protect herself from consequences that could cost her job, her safety, or her self-respect. The cruelty of the moment is not just in the ultimatum she faces, but in the silence around her. People hear her words, but few hear the fear behind them. Her breakdown becomes invisible noise in a world trained to ignore women when they are most vulnerable. In that instant, dignity feels like a privilege she can no longer afford. Her plea exposes a harsh truth. When systems fail, desperation speaks louder than pride. And when survival is on the line, even the strongest hearts are forced to beg, not because they want to, but because they have been left with no other choice. When the room turns silent and eyes shift away, the single father does what few are willing to do. He stands up, not loudly, not dramatically, but with a calm resolve shaped by years of struggle, sacrifice, and responsibility. He has learned, through raising a child alone, that real strength is not about dominance or status, but about protecting what is right, even when it costs you something. He sees what others choose to ignore, the fear behind her eyes, the shame forced onto her shoulders, and the injustice of a situation designed to break her spirit. While the world measures worth by convenience and power, he measures it by humanity. He doesn't step forward for praise, sympathy, or reward. He steps forward because his conscience will not allow him to remain seated. As a single father, he knows what it means to be judged, underestimated, and pushed to the edge. Those experiences have carved empathy into his character. He understands that silence in the face of cruelty makes you complicit. So he speaks, firmly, respectfully, and without hesitation, drawing a line that says her dignity is not negotiable. In that moment, his courage shifts the balance of power. What was once humiliation becomes resistance. What was once fear meets protection. His stand proves that bravery doesn't always roar. Sometimes it quietly refuses to accept injustice. By choosing empathy over indifference, he becomes more than a bystander. He becomes a shield. And in doing so, he reminds everyone watching that moral courage, standing up for someone who cannot, is the truest form of strength. His decision does more than end her suffering in that moment. It alters the direction of two wounded lives forever. What begins as a simple act of protection becomes a turning point neither of them expected. For her, the weight of fear, shame, and desperation finally loosens its grip. Someone has seen her, believed her, and valued her dignity when she could no longer fight alone. In that instant, despair gives way to relief, and relief slowly transforms into hope. For him, the act awakens something long buried beneath responsibility and routine. As a single father, his world has revolved around survival and sacrifice, leaving little room for connection or vulnerability. By standing up for her, he rediscovers a part of himself, the man who believes in doing what's right even when it's uncomfortable or risky. Protecting her becomes a reminder that his heart is still capable of courage, trust, and compassion. The bond that forms between them is not built on romance or convenience, but on mutual respect and shared pain. Two strangers, each carrying their own scars, recognize something familiar in one another, the quiet exhaustion of being strong for too long. His selfless stand becomes a bridge between their brokenness, allowing healing to begin on both sides. In the end, one bold act proves that destiny is not always shaped by grand plans or perfect timing. Sometimes it is rewritten in a single moment of courage, when one person chooses kindness over indifference, and two lost hearts find a reason to believe again.